recording and all that kind of stuff and blah, 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 blah. And people are jumping on already.
Oh, wow.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. There's lots of moving parts to this. Oh, hold on. Here we go. And then I have
Okay.
to do that. There we go. Here we are.
Okay.
So, yeah, people are jumping on. Hi, everybody. Say hello in the chat. Tell
Hi.
us where you are, what you're doing. I just went for a lovely walk to the beach with my kids and my dog, and I'm feeling like, oh, lovely. It was so nice out there. What are you doing with your Sunday? Make sure you click to panelists and attendees so everybody can see what you write. Santa Cruz, Maine, Long Island, Cheltenham. Did you have the races? Wasn't there the race? Cheltenham's in England, and it's famous for horse racing.
Uh-huh.
Wales, Boston. Wow. Now, I'm going to introduce you to Yolanda in a minute, but Yolanda's in Arkansas. Do we have anyone else in the South?
Georgia. Okay.
Georgia, the Peach State.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Northern California. I like to just know where people are. I'm not sure why. Oh, I'm going to have to... Hold on, let's remove that.
Should I click this box that says continue to be recorded?
It should still, yeah.
Okay, continue.
Yeah.
Okay, there it goes. It left.
Zoom keeps changing things. I don't know if everyone else is noticing in the last couple of weeks that you are being recorded. It always kind of makes me go, ooh.
Right.
Well, Claudia, you should be excited. I was just chatting to Yolanda, who joined the team in January, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of this year.
Uh-huh.
And we were looking, we wanted another qualified therapist. And that's something I really emphasize with everything that Soberful does. All our content is delivered by people who are qualified and experienced in working in the field of addiction. Yolanda, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, hello everybody. Yolanda Ross, and I'm the newbie to the Soberful team. Excited to be here. Let's see. I am originally from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and I currently reside in Little Rock, Arkansas. I obtained my master's degree in addiction studies from the University of Pine Bluff, and after that, I started my career in addictions counseling, substance abuse counseling, substance use disorder, and so I obtained my international certification as a drug and alcohol counselor. And then I later on ended up getting my license as a drug and alcohol counselor. So I'm a LADC slash comma ICADC. I know, right?
A lot of letters.
I know, right?
Yeah, and Yolanda does a weekly support group in Sober for Life, and it's just and done some workshops for us as well. And then when Tamara and I wanted to expand the Empowered Soberful Women program and just add more features to it, we wanted to bring in the rest of the female team into that because they just offer so much great stuff. So today, I've got a few things to tell you about first. Yolanda is going to be teaching us about self-esteem, which is one of her areas of expertise. I'm going to announce the winner of the prize from yesterday. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Empowered Soberful Women program that's enrolling now. Starts in a couple of weeks. People are already signing up for this. The Empowered Soberful Women program was put together by Tamara and myself, and we expanded it to include Yolanda, Mimi, and Tiffany, because we wanted to provide something that did the deeper work for women, that was led by experts, that had enough room and time to really do this deeper emotional work. Because if a lot of people can do this deeper work if they go to rehab, and rehab is about 30 days and $20,000 to $30,000, and that's just not possible for most people, and it's not possible for women, and especially mothers, because we often have caring responsibilities either for kids or elderly relatives, all that kind of stuff. So we wanted something that did that work, but did it in a way that was really accessible and much more affordable. as well. So I will tell you about that after Yolanda has done her thing. We will have another prize and winner from today. So let me tell you, yesterday, our prize was Soberful swag, t-shirts, bags, phone covers. Actually, I just got a new phone, so I haven't got my Soberful phone cover. All that kind of stuff. And that's going to go to Jan London from the US. London? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, Jan. But congratulations, Jan. Not sure if you're live today. Yay! No. Oh yeah, Jan, you're here. I can see you. Jan, you won the Soberful swag. Well done. How do you win a prize? You stay to the end and you answer the homework question that will be posted in the Facebook group. So stay to the end and you can get you'll get the question. You just post an answer in the Facebook group under the post, and Leanie picks out a winner, and you could win today. We're giving away another $50 Amazon gift card. So there's never, things you don't want to order on Amazon, right? So you can order whatever you want there. And we will send that to you just for showing up and giving yourself this gift of time for yourself to get this information, expand your learning, expand your experience of what sobriety could be. And we want to give you a gift for honoring yourself and showing up and doing that and just thinking about the homework. What's Amazon? Kathy says. I can just see Kathy just probably orders it every day. Okay, so we're going to be talking about self-esteem, Yolanda. Where do you want to start?
Oh my goodness, let's start with defining what self-esteem actually is. And just putting it, in layman's terms, self-esteem is an individual's evaluation of their self-worth. That's what self-esteem is. You're just evaluating your self-worth. Now, of course, when we think about self-esteem, I will say this, it starts with, your self-worth and also your self-confidence, which of course leads us up to how we feel about ourselves or, our self-esteem. And so again, when you think about self-esteem, it's everything that basically encompasses how you feel about yourself, your limiting beliefs, all of that, all of your accomplishments, all of that. So it's just your overall outlook, I'll say, on how you see yourself. Now, a lot of us, probably all of us who are on this meeting right now, our self-esteem will fall somewhere between, I'll say, high, medium, and low right now at this very moment. All of us. Your self-esteem is either high, medium, or low. And that is because of a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons. And I'll go ahead and say this, now that I said that, our self-esteem comes from, or our self-worth, how we feel about ourselves. You guys, it comes from growing up, again, because we all should know by now that everything is attributed to childhood. Everything goes back to childhood. So how we feel about ourselves, our limiting beliefs, the negative stuff we say to ourselves, it goes back to what was said to us, what was not said to us. It goes back to the things that we saw, the things we see even today. So again, where we are when it comes to our self-esteem level depends on all those factors. Now, let me say this. We tend to focus on all the negative things, like when it comes to your self-esteem, and I can just use myself for an example. Like I'll get triggered by something, and the negativity, the negative self-talk, it'll just start, and next thing I know, I spiral out of control. So when it comes to esteeming yourself, valuing yourself, telling you that you are important, you have to notice the self-talk that you are, the things that you're saying to yourself. You got to pay attention to those triggers that starts, those thoughts to flare up. And for me, sometimes it could be something so simple. I don't know, I could be thinking about something and then I'll reflect back to my mom, and next thing you know, I'm just spiraling out of control. So again, it's all about the negative self-talk. You have to pay attention to that. And also, we need to be mindful. Veronica touched on emotional sobriety the first day of the workshop. If our emotional state is not in a good space, if we're not in a good space, let me say mentally and emotionally, of course, it's going to affect our self-esteem or our self-worth, how we feel about ourselves. So that's why it's very important to make sure that we have emotional sobriety. Because think about it, if you don't feel good emotionally, mentally, and emotionally, it's going to affect what how you feel, how you see yourself. So all of that is important. It is all important. So again, we want to pay attention to again, the things we're telling ourselves, the negative self-talk, and then we want to pay attention to those tapes that we keep replaying in our minds. Like, wait a minute, what is going on? Oh, women are so guilty of what's the word? Body shaming. We we'll see a model on TV. Mind you, all of these models are airbrushed. They're filtered, but we'll see the stuff on TV, and the next thing you know, we're focusing on our own body and going, oh wow, I do need to work on changing some things about myself. So we start with those again. We have to pay attention to those to that tape that we keep replaying in our minds, and again, pay attention to what is triggering that. So sometimes, just in all honesty, we have to be mindful of the things we even listen to, the things we watch on television, and of course, social media is the absolute worst, which I shared before. Now, segueing into how do you know if you have low self-esteem?
Hmm.
There are signs. I'm going to name 11. We all know it's more than that. 11 is a lot. So I'm going to name 11. Number one, poor confidence. Because again, your self-worth is based off of your confidence, how you feel about yourself. So if you lack confidence, then that's one sign of having low self-esteem. Poor confidence. Another one, not setting boundaries. Veronica and Tamara talked about that, not setting boundaries. A sign of poor self-esteem.
Mm.
And I am going to say this, just me sitting on this side of the table. I When I listened to that webinar, all I kept saying was, OMG, wow, I'm still guilty of not setting boundaries. So not setting boundaries is another sign of not having high self-esteem or having low self-esteem. Another one is negative social comparison. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's expound on that one. Y'all, who nobody's perfect. Please know that nobody is perfect. So we have got to stop comparing ourselves to other people's lives, looking at what other people are doing. At a certain age, you feel like I'm supposed to be here, I'm not there. So you get gloom, doom, despair, depressed because you are comparing yourself to other people. We have got to stop that. We've got to stop that. I was so guilty of that years ago until I realized, hold up, these people aren't perfect. They're not perfect. So I stopped comparing myself to other people. So happy. Another sign, I don't know how many I've listed, but I'm going to just keep going off the top of my head. People pleasing. People pleasing. I shared in my meeting last Thursday. I was guilty of that. I allowed myself to do something that I did not want to do by not having boundaries. And in turn, guess what? I was resentful. I was bitter. Oh my goodness, I just felt away. And I could have avoided all that had I set boundaries for myself. Yeah, had I set boundaries for myself. So again, when Veronica talked about that, when she and Tamara talked about that, I was just sitting there like, oh my goodness. And so when we don't set boundaries, like Veronica said, we're liars. We're not authentic. We are not being authentic with ourselves. So again, having low self-esteem and not setting boundaries, those are some of the attributes of not having low self or having low self-esteem. Poor outlook on life, hopelessness. Um, I don't know, when we are drinking and when we're going through all of this, of course, guilt, shame, hopelessness, despair, all of those things resonate with us. And so, of course, having low self-esteem, the hopelessness, that's a part of it. So again, we want to we want to make sure that we are aware. Number one, we're bringing it to your awareness. Some of the signs of poor self-esteem, and then we want to change all of this around so that you can be connected to your power, so that you can become empowered. All right. So again, the hopelessness, that's another sign. Lack of boundaries and trying to please people. Problems asking for what you need. Oh, wow. Who has problems asking for what you need? If that's you, that's one sign of having low self-esteem. Because I think at the end of the day, we're afraid of what somebody is going to tell us, like you don't want to be turned down. It was already enough having to ask whoever you ask. And God forbid, they tell you, no, I'm not going to be able to do that, or whatever it may be. So again, problems asking for what you need. Not only you're not going to ask, but you're just afraid. So fear should be also, to me, on that list. I think fear should be included. That's just my 2 cents on that. So I don't know if I name all of those, all 11. Like I said, it was 11, that I had. And again, like I said, I'm sure I'm leaving out some other things, but those are just some things that I wanted to share with you all on today. Now, knowing what are some signs of low self-esteem, guess what? Having low self-esteem can lead to a lot of problems. I think some of you are going to be shocked by some of the things I'm going to say just from having low self-esteem. Like, really? Yes, not believing in yourself, not valuing yourself, knowing that you're worth it, not having confidence in yourself. It affects us. It does. It affects us. It can cause, I'm going to just start with the first one: substance use, substance abuse, drinking, low self-esteem, just trying to deal with it, just trying to cope with not having confidence in yourself, not having the belief in yourself, just trying to deal with the guilt and the shame. So of course we drink to numb all of this stuff. Substance use is one of the downsides of not have of having low self-esteem. Crazy. Another one, anxiety. Wow. I will share this, Veronica. When I first started my meetings, and I shared in my meetings, my anxiety was out the roof. It was out the roof because I wanted, I wanted to do well. I wanted to do well. Of course, the fear of being a failure. Who wants to be a failure? But so my anxiety, it was out the roof. But when I started implementing mindfulness, which is a really good technique, the deep breathing exercises, which I also do on my meetings, when I started doing that for myself, when I actually exercise all the stuff that I teach on myself, a lot of things change. My meetings now, I'm like, oh, hi, ladies, I'm excited for my meetings. But practicing mindfulness, the breathing techniques is one thing that you can implement to decrease your anxiety. And I also shared in my meeting, and I'm going to go ahead and, keep going. But when you are dealing with a lot of anxiety, if you pay attention to yourself, you're breathing from up here versus from your belly. You're breathing, you're breathing from up here. And so every Thursday, I would be breathing from up here because I'm nervous and I'm going, OMG, I wonder what they're going to think about me. But now I'm breathing from, as we say, my diaphragm on my belly. So if you pay attention, like when you're experiencing any type of anxiety or whatever, pay attention to how you're breathing. Pay attention to that. And then start implementing some deep breathing exercises. Some other signs to know that how low self-esteem can affect you. Eating disorders. They talked about eating disorders. Because again, we gravitate towards whatever is going to soothe us. And for some of us, we drink, some of us we eat. I mean, some people, they get off into gambling, because addictions don't just lie with just drugs and alcohol. There are all types of addictions out there. Going back to the substance use. Yeah, addictions don't just stop at drugs and alcohol. So in order to cope with, just dealing with not having esteem, we find something to numb that or to deal with it. And so, some people, they start eating. Oh, by the way, stress is another one. Yeah. Stress. You all, my grandmother, rest in peace, she used to always say, stress will kill you. That is the absolute truth. You can develop stress from just having low self-esteem. And of course, when we think about when you're stressed out, it affects what? Your hormones. Going back to what I think Mimi shared about, your menstrual cycle, all of that stuff. So I was like, this is really interesting. So again, that's why it is so important. It's so important to, again, like Veronica said, if you hadn't watched all of the trainings, the webinars, go back and watch all of them. Take some time for you, which is important. That's that self-love I talk about. Take some time and watch all of the webinars from the beginning, because they will empower you. They will change your life, because you are going to learn so much about you, so that you can have that emotional sobriety and so that you can connect to your power. So all of that is important. Risky behaviors, of course, panic disorders from having low self-esteem. So crazy, but it's so true. It's so true. Now that I've said that, I will say this. The good thing also about, us having low self-esteem is the fact that it's a learned behavior, because again, going back to what I said, we learn vicariously. We learn by watching other people. We learn just, again, like I said, from the things that we see, looking at people, or things we see on television, and things we see on, on our cell phones, that we got these mobile devices. But it's a learned behavior. So the good thing about it is, we can unlearn some of those behaviors. But again, you have to pay attention to those negative tapes that you keep replaying in your mind. And again, at the end of the day, like Veronica always says, it takes effort and work. You got to stop and pay attention to, wait a minute, what is going on? What triggered that thought? Because like I said, if you are not, if you're not in a good space, mentally, emotionally, it's going to affect how you feel, which thus in turn is going to cause you to want to, pick up some of the drink, so you can just, oh my goodness, drown in your sorrows, drown in the depression and all that. So it's important to have emotional sobriety. It really is. Can't stress that enough. It's important to have boundaries, establish boundaries. Oh, not doing that. No, not going to be able to do that. Sorry. And people should respect that. When you tell somebody no, they are supposed to respect the fact that you set those boundaries for yourself, because you have confidence in yourself. You believe in you now. I'm worthy. I have worth, self-worth. So no, I'm not going to allow myself to be placed in a position or a situation to where it's going to make me feel away, or it's just not beneficial towards me. Like I said on the podcast, I choose me. And that's where we have to get to, that space of choosing ourselves. I'm sorry, but no, sorry, not sorry. Be selfish when it comes to you. Sorry, not sorry. Be selfish when it comes to you, because you're in a space to where you're trying to become your better self. You're trying to become a better you. So be selfish with that, and work on your confidence and your self-worth, building all that so that you can you can esteem yourself. And some ways to do that. And I'm a hurry up and stop talking, because I'm a talker, y'all. I am a talker.
No, you're fine. I could listen to you talk all day, because I love your accent. So keep going.
Thank you. But so some ways to build your self-esteem is to be you. Be you. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Like, I mean, if you have to, just start writing down some things that you like about yourself. Because again, on the podcast, I was like, we extend compassion to people, I mean, like effortlessly. I said it. But when it comes to ourselves, we're so hard on ourselves. So be kind to yourself. And like I was saying, I mean, if it takes you just, getting a piece of paper and just writing down the stuff that you like about you, do that. But again, you want to empower yourself. So be kind to yourself. Another thing is, I always say this is a little cliche of mine. Do you? Do you, because I'm going to do me. Do what works for you. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy. Of course, when we say do you, we want it to be something healthy stuff, because people will take that around with it. Well, Yolanda
Mm.
said do me, so I'm just gonna no. No, we mean healthy stuff, wholesome stuff. But do what makes you happy. And then another thing, is it said to basically be active, like go to the gym. If you had been working out, start back working out, because of course we know when we work out, it releases what? Endorphins, which is what? The happy drug or pill or whatever. Yeah, it releases endorphins in our brain, so it makes you feel good when you start working out. So get busy, start exercising. Movement, that's one of the pillars of sobriety. So get moving, get active. um Another thing is, to build your self-esteem, make sure you're surrounded by people who, and I'm gonna just use this word, who celebrate you. Hang around people who celebrate
Ooh,
you
I
and
love
not
that.
tolerate you. That's
Mm,
huge. Surround
mm.
yourself with people who are going to celebrate you and not just tolerate you. That's huge.
That's boundaries, right? Is that
Yes,
we don't, even family and on holidays and special occasions, we do not have to be around people who are abusive to us.
we don't, Veronica, we don't. But we've been conditioned to think, oh, it's the holiday, so let me go and hang around my family. And the whole time you're sitting there looking crazy, like, I do not want to be here.
And they
Me,
say around people are like, "You're doing what? You can't do that. Like, don't be ridiculous. Oh, you're just gonna like that." Just yeah, we don't have to be around that stuff, right?
we don't. I mean, like you said, it's a part of establishing boundaries. And then this is not part of what I was going to say, but just releasing. I mean, the guilt and shame, like I said, just forgiving yourself. Forgive yourself. Release the guilt, the shame. Forgive. And all the resentments. You'll feel better. You'll feel better. Again, it'll make you feel empowered once you just release all of that stuff. So again, be nice to yourself, be kind to yourself. Do you get moving? Remember that everyone makes mistakes. Remember that everybody makes mistakes. There ain't no we're living in an imperfect world. So please stop, thinking, oh my goodness, I have done this, that, and the third. Who ain't done something that they're ashamed of? A lot of people have done stuff and they ain't got caught. Nobody knew about it. Trust and believe they have. So again, I mean, nobody's perfect. So you have to remind yourself of that. Remind yourself of that. What else? Do what makes you happy. Celebrate the small stuff. I love that. Celebrate the small stuff. If you do something, I mean, such as just who knows? Like I used to be late for work all the time. And I think it's just because, it was just time for me to transition. But I literally would celebrate myself when I would be on time for work. And how I celebrate myself, oh, let me get a frappuccino or something, from Starbucks, because the calories, trying to stay away from the calories. But you celebrate the small stuff. It don't have to be nothing big when you celebrate yourself. It doesn't have to be something huge. And I think that's our problem too. We look for, like, really, when we, do something or something major happens, we look, we feel like, okay, it's time to celebrate. No, celebrate little bitty stuff for yourself. It's okay to do that. It is okay to do that. And then when it comes to what's the word? Do what works for you. I want to go back to that because y'all, I talk about myself all the time. Like I can laugh at myself. I can. Do what works for you. Like I'm a woman of color, y'all see that. And so duh. And so, I mean, growing up, you guys, like, okay, so I'm a brown skinned woman of color, like I'm fairly dark skinned. And so just being honest about it, I mean, society, for women like me, people would be more favorable towards light skinned women, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so for me growing up, that affected my self-esteem. It really did.
Mm.
It affected my self-esteem, because I was this dark-skinned girl, my hair wasn't gorgeous, like, oh my goodness. So it affected me growing up.
Mm.
So as I grew older, it was like, even like my eyebrows, my eyebrows aren't thick. So I was like, how do I get my eyebrows to thicken up? I did what worked for me. I get them threaded and I get them tinted. My eyes are so small, you can't hardly see them. So I get lashes. I do what works for me. I do what makes me feel good. So yeah, you do what works for you. You know, if you feel like, oh, okay, I think I need to do this to change whatever, do that to make you feel better about yourself. So you do what works for you. And I'm gonna conclude and say, I don't know if I don't know how much time I got, Veronica, but
Couple
when it
minutes.
when it comes to you know, like I said, we're so hard on ourselves when it comes to our bodies. Um, write a love letter to yourself, to your body.
Mm.
Appreciate your body. Hey, thank you for for working, number one. Because again, we have to appreciate the small things, because everybody, some people don't have two arms. Some people don't have to. So you, I thank you for having all my body parts. And you know, I thank you, leg, for not locking up. I mean, anything. But write a love letter to not just yourself, but to your body, and appreciate your body just the way it is. Appreciate yourself and you for where you are, and for just where, for what you have. Appreciate you for where you are and what you have and the way you look. Yeah, appreciate you for the way you are, what you have, the way you look. It's okay. And I want to say this. I want you to tell yourself, I love myself wholeheartedly, flaws and all.
Mm.
I love myself wholeheartedly, flaws and all, because nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. All right.
I was just thinking, I've got this like extra roll here, and my body created two amazing boys, and I am
Yes.
quite loving my extra roll here because that's where I grew my two amazing sons.
Right.
And I have to say, whenever I get on a call with Yolanda, I'm always like, oh crap, I have to up my game. She always looks so glamorous and fabulous. I'm like, you look like you've just stepped off of a like movie set or
No,
something.
no. I
I'm
mean,
looking at my t-shirt.
no, because I was like, nope, not gonna wear that. And Veronica, believe it or not, that goes back, like I said, to childhood. My grandparents raised me. My grandmother, like she was like, whenever you are presenting yourself before people, you want to make sure you look nice. So that's where
Mm,
all of that came from, and it has stuck with
mm,
me. So
yeah.
that's why, as much as I want to be comfortable, I can't. That stuff is still holding on to me.
I feel, thank you so much for this. I feel like what I want to, like everything you said about women and self-esteem, how so much of this comes from the outside. You said, growing up as a dark-skinned girl, and it is. It's not like there's black and there's darker black, and
Right.
how every time I see you, you're beautiful, and I'm so grateful that you inhabit yourself
Thank
now.
you.
But this all came, and all of us, every woman has this. We all
Right.
have this where we're told, and it affects our self-esteem, and we gotta really work on the inside stuff, which is the emotional sobriety stuff, to
Right.
be able to buffer this constant onslaught of we're not good enough and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yes. Right. Yes. Yes.
So one of the questions that I always use with clients, and that helped me a lot when I was trying to raise my self-esteem, was, what would a woman who loved herself do next?
I love that.
Because so much of what you were saying
I
is,
love that.
it's almost like we are doing so much to just, we're fixing our feelings with a lot of the stuff we're doing,
Mhm.
how we're talking about ourselves, drinking, all that kind of stuff. And everything you said is so true. Like, I can't remember all of them now, but they're all examples of having low self-esteem. So
Mhm.
stop
Mhm.
and ask yourself. And why I love this question is, what would a woman who loved herself do next? You're not saying, I love myself.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like, if you're not
Right.
there yet, I am there. I love
Right.
myself. But
Right.
if you're not there yet, you're just like, Yolanda looks like she loves herself. What would she do next? Veronica looks like, it's like, okay, so if I knew a woman who loved herself, what would she would do this?
I
I'll do
love.
that.
Yeah, I love that.
I'll do that. So it's a way of easing into it without being, because many people are like, I like loving myself, like, whoa, no, can't do that kind of thing. But it's a way of sort of easing into,
Yeah.
like, so, and that helps build your self-esteem, because you really highlighted how behavior follows
Mhm.
feelings.
Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. like I said, for me, when I was, in those relationships or whatever, Veronica, like I shared before, I didn't esteem. I had no, esteem for myself. And so again, no confidence, none of that. And so I allowed, people to
Mm,
just mistreat me. So yeah,
mm,
absolutely.
mm. Yeah,
Mhm.
and the more I've got to know you, I see you as someone who just went, I am freaking claiming myself.
I did.
I am claiming myself despite all this
I,
noise around me
yes, I
saying
did.
the opposite.
I did, Veronica. I mean, I was basically flatline. I was flatlining and resuscitating somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I was giving life to people, and I was just flatlining myself. And so I was like, you are, you're either, like you said, you're either growing or dying. And I
Yeah.
was dying, literally. I was dying.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I had to turn it around. I was like, no, we got to stop this.
This is a woman, just like me, we have rebuilt ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really important for everybody to know this with Tamara, with Mimi, with Tiffany, with everybody, with Leni, who's my support here, with Louise.
Mm-hmm.
We did not show up like this. This is not luck. We did not just
Mm-hmm.
have it lucky and we just like stopped drinking and it all kind of fell into
Mm-hmm.
place and we didn't do anything.
Mm-mm.
We did the inner work.
Right.
And that's the most important thing any of us can do. So I want to just tell you a little bit more about the Empowered Soberful Women program, and then I'm going to give you the homework question for whoever wants to win the $50 Amazon gift card. Yolanda is teaching a module in Empowered Soberful Women, which is all about self-esteem. So it's about how we can build our self-esteem, how we can begin to buffer all of that outside stuff and all of that messaging that we have that for some reason we're not good enough, and we
Right.
can move towards being women who love ourselves. And this is all a process. So this is why the program is 5 months. We have bonuses. So if you actually do pay in full and do the early bird, it's actually almost 6 months of support because we actually have 2 bonus sessions in December. So it's a really roomy container. This is not, we don't do quick fixes. We don't do like 21-day things because we know from our experience that this takes time to move into this process
Right.
of becoming an empowered soberful woman. And if you missed the training on Monday, the first one that we did, make sure that you see that because it's all about emotional sobriety and it's all about clearing the crap that prevents you accessing your power. So that's why we start with module 1. We start with how to have boundaries. You cannot be happy and successful, let alone sober, without really good boundaries. It's linked to what Yolanda was saying about self-esteem. Someone who has boundaries is somebody who values themselves. So we teach a very specific method that you are going to go and practice in your life with the people that you come across. And you're going to come to the coaching calls and we're going to help you refine that, tweak it, deal with the feelings that come up, because having boundaries is really scary. We're going to look at balance, which is one of the pillars of sustainable sobriety, and about meeting our needs, because boundaries and balance go together. You can't have one without the other. So it's first of all, as a woman, recognizing what your needs are now and where you're not meeting them, where you need to change things, and how you can use boundaries to meet your needs and create balance. When we're out of balance, we feel uncomfortable in our own skin. So when we feel uncomfortable in our own skin, our brains look for an anesthetic. Where is the anesthetic? How can I change how I feel? So module 3 is about dealing with fear and resistance. And actually tomorrow, Tamara is going to be talking about fear. So don't miss tomorrow's training. So in the program, we go deep into how fear manifests itself in our lives. And it also, what happens is it gets out of balance. We can never be free of fear because it's in our DNA. We need it. We wouldn't be alive if we didn't have the emotion of fear. But what happens is it's out of balance. And I know for me, that was a big part of my story. fear out of balance becomes anxiety and panic attacks. And that was a big part of my history. And we also are going to look a little bit at resistance, which is how we get this call to growth, but we keep sabotaging ourselves. So that's module 3. Module 4, Yolanda's doing, which is about building our self-esteem. We have a module on relationships. So we are looking at how we show up in relationships, romantic relationships, friendships, all of that kind of stuff, the patterns that we have in relationships. Module 6, I want to say, if you do this program and just show up for boundaries and resentments, your life will change. I guarantee your life will change.
Right.
If you do this work imperfectly,
Right.
you will experience such a transformation, because we teach a very specific method to deal with and get free of resentments. And it's really about creating internal emotional shifts so we respond to the world differently. Then we have a module that Tiffany and Mimi are teaching about food and women's hormones and our bodies and all of that kind of stuff. They're both, Mimi's a nurse practitioner, Tiffany's a registered nurse. So this is real proper expert help here. And then the last module is on empowering habits, which is about, once we've done this almost 6 months together, how do we continue to do this for the rest of our lives? Because everything that we're teaching is what we do. This is what we do. And Yolanda gave great examples of this. We are not perfect. Like, we have moments where I when I teach the resentments, I share my resentments, like when I'm pissed off, and I work through and I show people like how like it affected me, and we have moments when we're nervous or whatever. Like Yolanda was saying, before she was a little bit nervous, I was like, I used to get so nervous before doing these things, and I don't anymore. That makes me nervous is all the tech, because it's all kind of a bit complicated. But it's perfectly normal. Right. So over the 5 months together, you'll get a training video for each of the modules, because it's very skill based. These are the emotional skills that you missed out on learning, either because they didn't get role modeled in your family of origin, or because alcohol just suppresses our emotional growth and development. So we don't learn the tools that adults need to have. And we just keep defaulting to alcohol to deal with all these uncomfortable emotions. So it's very skill-based. You'll get a video about whatever it is we're working on, practicing. And then in the coaching calls, that's where we help you with these, developing these skills, using them, the tools, all of that kind of stuff. So in addition to that, we give you 5 months free membership to Soberful Life, because in Soberful Life, there's tons of other support in there, but there's also a private online space that we create just for people in this program. So that's where we post the videos and the handouts, and we can interact. You can ask questions. So it's a really, really supportive, roomy container. Early bird sign up. Some of you are already signing up. Jump in now if you know you're in, because next Thursday, the 17th, we have a early bird group. It's for people who jump in early. It's a visioning and valuing workshop. It's super fun, super enlightening. It will open your eyes to a lot of things. It's about where direction your life that you're going in. And then if you want to pay in full, there's we have digital bonuses. There's about $1,000 worth of digital bonuses, but you also get, as a pay in full bonus, we're doing 2 extra workshops in December about getting through the holidays. And it's not so much, it's about getting through the holidays sober, but it's also about dealing with family dynamics and all of that kind of stuff. So it really goes to the end of the year. We make it super easy for you. If you want to pay in installments, you can do 6 installments of $899. Pay in full is $4,997. It's just under $5,000 in US. You'll have to work it out, whatever it is in British pounds. It is a commitment. It's a commitment of time, money, and effort. We only want you to do this if you're ready. I want to say that we have all spent thousands of dollars on our destruction. Not just alcohol, on the junk food, on the buying things we never wore and we didn't need, looking for fixes. This is a small investment compared to going to a rehab for $30,000. It's a small investment in yourself because you are worth it. couple of things I also like to say, and Leni's going to post the link for you there with the information. It should come around in an email. What I want to say is my programs always sell out, and they always fill up with I want to say not the right people, the people who are just ready to do this work.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to feel resistance. That's really normal. It's really normal to feel a lot of fear about committing time and money to something.
Mm-hmm.
It's important that you check us out. And that's why we emphasize our qualifications and experience at the beginning. There's lots of people now online selling all kinds of sober fixes who have zero qualifications and experience. Please do not give your money to those people.
Mm-hmm.
Please check us out. Go to my website. Everybody's information is there. Just know that, feel comfortable with the people that you're making a commitment with.
Mm-hmm.
If you're if there's a lot of resistance, you can book a call with either me or Tamara. It's $97 to book the call, and we can discuss your concerns and fears and all that kind of stuff, and recommend something else if that would be better. And if you want to jump into the program, we'll take the $97 off of the cost of the program as well. So you can also do that. My diary fills up really quickly, so just know that. There was a couple of questions. I'm just having a look. Okay, so I thought there was a question, but I didn't see one. So Tamara is going to be here tomorrow. She's going to be teaching us about fear. This is, for me, this was the primary number one reason I drank. I drank because fear ruled my life. And then on Tuesday, I am going to be teaching about resentments. Do not miss either of them. But resentments, I want to just tell you, this stuff is freaking gold. And then on Wednesday, we're wrapping up with a Q&A and how to be an empowered, soberful woman. I'm so happy to see so many of you already jump into this program and make this commitment to yourself. I'm so glad to see so many of you getting so much of this free training. Yolanda, you've been amazing.
Thank you.
You're always amazing. So grateful to have you on the team.
Thank you.
Homework question. What is the homework question? The homework question. Do you have it, Yolanda?
I do.
Go on.
So let's see. Self-esteem is an individual's evaluation of their self-worth.
No, that's not the question.
It's not?
No. The question is, so this is the homework question.
Okay, you got it.
I want to improve my self-esteem because ...
Okay.
I want to improve my self-esteem because.
So
that will be in the Facebook group. Post that to get your $50 get a chance to win the $50 Amazon gift card. We will see you tomorrow. We have 3 more days of training. And looking forward to seeing you then. Looking forward to seeing so many of you in the program that are already jumping in. Yolanda, take care.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.